When I was 13 years old, I weighed 2.5 times our hero Okarun from Dan to Dan. So today I'm going to be stepping into his shoes to see what it takes to eat and train like him so you can get faster and stronger. But before I make all of my meals for the day, I need to know exactly how tall he is and how much he weighs. Let's do a little bit of research. Now, since I actually don't have a lot of information on Okarun's height and weight, we have to go based on Japanese averages for high school kids his age. Let me show you what I mean. The average height of a male Japanese teenager is around 5'7", according to the information that I had found. The average weight is around 135 pounds, so that's what I had put into my calculator, but we had also set it to where he's active most of the time. We see him working out almost daily, and so I tried to account for that in this macro calculator. I also said that he wants to have about a pound of weight gain each week, so that way it's not too excessive, and hopefully most of it's muscle. When I put all that information into this calculator, this is the information that I get. 181 grams of protein, 395 grams of carbs, 84 grams of fat, for around 2,966 calories. Now, this is actually a significant amount of calories, but now that I have the information, I can go back downstairs and start planning all of my meals for the day. Now, I did have a plan of attack going into this diet. I think anytime you work on your meal prep or what you want to make throughout the day, or even any projects you're working on, it's always good to plan ahead. Let's start making breakfast because I have a very long day ahead.
The first thing I'm making for breakfast is a ground chicken curry rice bowl. This is actually super simple to make and it only requires a few ingredients. The first ingredient is going to be one onion that I'm actually slicing up for dinner so I can use that later. And the other part of the onion was just diced up. Now I'm taking ground chicken and using this after I season it, but you can use ground beef or pork as well if you want that instead. After seasoning the chicken, I put some oil in my pan and throw my diced onions directly into the pan and saute them up just lightly. I'm not actually trying to cook these down too much. After about 2 minutes, I throw in all the ground chicken and start breaking that up in the pan to start cooking it.
One hack I like to use for things like this, especially when I meal prep, is using pre-made sauces and spices. So in this case, I'm using a little bit of golden curry. This is only 1 cube of extra hot golden curry, but you can also just use whatever favorite spice you have realistically. You can put whatever you want in this. You know, you do you. You don't want golden curry? I don't care. I think it's good.
Now, if you don't want to use golden curry, you can pick your other favorite sauce or side and throw this in here instead. But I actually like using golden curry this way because I like the way it coats everything and how the excess liquid from the proteins end up making that little bit of a curry sauce. This only takes a couple of minutes and it's ready to serve.
This entire pan of food took like 10 minutes to make. This is easily 2 to 3 portions depending on how much you want to eat. I think the ground chicken cost me about 10 bucks. So to get 2 to 3 portions of food for $10 isn't too bad. Now, since this is breakfast, there's no point in putting it into a bento box, so I'm gonna keep this clean so I can make my lunch bento right after breakfast. But one thing I did wanna show you guys is how I make my bentos. These ingredients that I have on this tray are actually all from Uwajimaya and they're pre-made. They only cost a few dollars per container and they do go a long way. Normally when you're making a bento from scratch, you might be making your sides, your sauces, your toppings, everything from scratch, right? But that does take a ton of time. While that is good to know, I really like using this method.
Now realistically, this bento on a plate is only 2 ingredients. It's going to be the rice plus our chicken curry mixture. But because we bought all of those side ingredients, we can have a great time plating these up in different capacities. If I want more cucumber salad, I could throw it on there. If I want more daikon, I could throw it on there. I'm finishing this off with some fresh sliced green onions because it gives you life and a ton of sesame seeds to just make it look pretty and give it some more flavor.
And this is the first meal of the day to try to become like Okarun from Dan to Dan. This entire bowl of food comes out to 650 calories, 60 grams of protein, 23 grams of fat, and 53 grams of carbohydrates. I honestly can't wait to dig into this. This looks so good, and I think this is the first time I've made this. It looks so inviting and so warm. Oh my God, that's so good. A little daikon at the end. I love everything about this. Not gonna lie, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is a 5 out of 5. Oh. I'm gonna take this down and then have my first Okarun style workout of the day. And then I'm gonna show you guys an awesome, super easy to make bento for lunch.
The reason why Okarun wants to get stronger is so he doesn't let Momo down when it comes to battles. But the only training advice he had gotten was from Psycho. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 back extensions for 5 sets. That means 500 reps of each, and that is insane. It also just seems like a variation of One Punch Man's diet, but you can watch that video after this if you want to. And because I'm nursing a shoulder injury, I'm actually going to do a lower body workout. This way I can build up my leg strength to become Turbo Granny herself. And you know how this goes. I always always try to find the best, most awkward angles for you guys to see while I do this kind of training. But this is relatively simple. I just did a ton of squats followed by some curls for the girls that actually involve the legs, and that included some single leg movements. I firmly believe you should always work on single leg movements as well as your regular movements too. And because I'm in the middle of a Demon Slayer training series, I'm also making sure I really stretch out and work my hamstrings, because this is one of my challenges for that series. I have to spend 90 days training like a Demon Slayer so I can eventually touch my toes. I got in a little bit of core work because core is super important, especially to become Turbo Granny, and then I finished it off with some cardio while watching Dan. And now I get to finally enjoy my lunch. Now, one of my goals throughout this entire year is to make sure I eat something outside so this way I can touch grass. So yes, I did bring my lunch with me. I find that living in the Northwest, I'm indoors way too often, so this is a way for me to challenge myself, no matter the weather, to go outside and have one meal outside if possible. I've already packed my meal in here, and it's been sitting in the car since I left this morning, so hopefully it's still good because this is a special one. Let me show you what's in here. For lunch, I decided to make a spicy ahi poke style bento box. What's great is I can also utilize the hot rice I had made in the morning that I'm using for all the other meals, but in this case, I'm going to turn it kind of into sushi rice. I'm taking some seasoned rice vinegar and adding it to my rice, and then cutting the vinegar into the rice. This means I'm basically cooling down the rice while incorporating that vinegar into the rice. I'm placing this into the bento box and just gently pressing it down, and then adding in some sesame seeds right on top to protect the layers, followed by some shredded seaweed to give it a ton of flavor.
Look, we don't need to cook and make everything all the time. To me, a big part of meal prep, meal planning, diet planning, whatever you're here for, is to get excited about the food. And when I was at Awajimaya, I had found this really awesome ahe poke that had habanero in it and a bunch of chilies, and I really wanted to eat this. Could I make this? Absolutely. But it was also cheaper to buy it this way than it was to buy the actual loin of tuna. May as well get it like this.
I'm absolutely stacking this bento with 8 ounces of tuna. This is a tremendous amount of fish, and if you don't want to even use fish, use chicken, pork, beef, whatever you want.
No Gandalf.
Of course, when I take out the fish, Gandalf shows up. I'm stacking this bento box with all of the other ingredients that I had previously purchased as well, but changing up some of the additions. In this case, I'm using some pickled cucumber, some candied sweet potato, some furikake seasoning, and this thing is pretty much done.
This backdrop makes it look way more fancy than it is, but I'm actually just at a local park, and behind me is where I'm gonna get the next workout of the day, and so I figured that was kind of optimal, right? We can have our lunch and then maybe immediately throw it up. I mean, come on, that looks pretty freaking tasty, even though it's been sitting for over an hour. You know, it's raw fish, so you know what? It'll be fine. I had a little cold pack in there. This will be okay. I'll let you know if I'm okay in like an hour or two after I eat this. Hey, before you eat lunch, you know what time it is. You have to do this right now. This video is sponsored by longtime friend of the channel, Into the AM, and their Relaxed Fit button-ups. I've been wearing these for a few weeks out and about, and I will say, as being a sweaty monster as I am, they keep me cool and light. If you want to be just as stylish as Momo, head to my link down below over at intotheam.com and save yourself 10% off of their brand new relaxed button-ups. You won't be disappointed, and I promise you're going to look good. Hey, can I eat my lunch now? Yeah, you can eat now. Thank you. This bento has around 75 grams of protein because there's like a half pound of ahi tuna in there. My mouth is watering just smelling it, so cheers. Oh yeah. Oh, that's spicy, but it's so good. Luckily, the tuna is still cold. I was actually really worried about that. Using little tricks like making a few things on your own and buying some store-bought stuff makes me more excited to eat a lot of the time. I've been a chef for 20 years. I don't need to make everything, and I don't think you do either. And so sometimes you just have to pick your battles. I don't think you have to fight every hard fight. But I will say, I'm going to absolutely regret eating this very spicy tuna and then getting my next training for Okarun in. Oh, stupid idea. Awful idea. Now that my belly is full of the spiciest tuna I have had in a long time, I think it's appropriate to immediately go into the second part of today's training, which is going to be a mistake, but it's a bit of mobility movement. Okay, let's just do this. My belly hurts from all the habanero that was in there. Now, the reason why I'm also doing the mobility movement is because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm still going through my Demon Slayer training, and as I get older, a lot of this stuff is really appropriate to help open things up and make sure that I still feel really nice and loose throughout the day. And look at how close I am to touching my toes. I've been training like a Demon Slayer for about 4 weeks, and I'm so close to touching my toes. But man, it feels so far. Ugh.
And since my right shoulder was bothering me throughout the week from that previous injury, I decided to try this kind of standing up breakdancing looking move that is actually really good for your spine and really good for your shoulders, even though if you look a little strange doing it in public. Then I practiced my Instagram pose where you bend one knee and straighten the other, and then you stick your butt out as far as you can go to really stretch the hamstrings. Yes, I firmly believe that I was being judged by everyone else at the park in doing these poses. I then strengthened up my hamstrings just a little bit because we did work on this earlier today, and then I opened up my hip, which actually felt awful. It felt like someone was taking a crowbar and sticking it in between my groin and pulling as hard as they could.
Oh, my thumb. It just crushed my thumb. I know I did squats earlier today, but you know, this is part of the program. So I'm doing squats again, and I'm trying to just like open up the hips because they feel awful. I hope you're doing this with me. You're probably just watching this on TV. You can get up and do a couple of squats. It's okay, it's good for your hips. Come on, do 5. 1, there you go. That's good. I feel like Billy Blank's Tybo. 2, you know, maybe Richard, was it Richard Simmons? Yeah, he's really good. What about, is it Vanna White? I don't know who the other one. There was a bunch of stuff from the 80s. You know, now we're a 80s workout together program. Yep, there we go, that was it, 5. But you know what's great is that entire thing only took about 15 to 16 minutes to do, and you could do that at home. So hopefully I showed you some, my head is cut off. So now I get to go back to the house and make dinner. I'm really excited for this one. This is something I also haven't tried before, so it's going to be an experience for you and for me.
Dinner is going to be a bulgogi style beef rice bowl, but it's going to be made in the style of gyudon. In this case, I'm going to need some really thinly sliced beef that I picked up and I had leftovers, and some leftover sauce that I had laying around.
Now you want to see something crazy? Let's set a timer.
I'm going to be setting a timer because I want to show you guys how fast this dish can be made. In a hot pan, I'm adding just a little bit of oil and then some of the sliced onions I had prepped earlier in the day. This is really nice because a lot of the times you can prep your stuff ahead of time or the day before, and this way you don't have to spend too much time making dinner. After sauteing the onions while levitating the beef for just about 2 minutes, I started adding in my thin slices of beef. If you don't have thin slices of beef at your local grocery store, you can slightly freeze another steak of choice and then slice it super thin. After adding the beef, I'm taking some of my secret sauce and adding just a touch of warm water to it to dilute it. Otherwise, the sauce would be too thick and it may end up burning in the pan. I'm cooking this for just about 3 minutes in the pan. Once that's done, I'm setting it to the side, and I've only spent 4 minutes on this dish so far. And now, since I am eating it here, I don't necessarily need to put this into a bento, but you totally could. In this case, I'm plating it up with a ton of rice, taking all of the beef, onions, and sauce, placing it on top of the rice, adding some green onions and some sesame seeds, and then some more of those sides that I had purchased from Wajimaya, including a little bit of tamagoyaki. I found this there as well, and I figured it would be a nice little treat for me because I love tamagoyaki. This beef rice bowl is done, and it took no time at all.
This giant bowl of food took me, where is it? Where is this camera focusing? 7 minutes and 56 seconds. That's it. This is why I'm a firm believer that you don't need to make everything from scratch. Imagine if you could make a bowl of food like this in under 8 minutes. Yes, I am very fast in the kitchen. I understand that, and I do acknowledge that. But even if you're not that fast in the kitchen, even if you doubled the amount of time, this is under 15 minutes to make this. It all comes down to utilizing things like this leftover sauce, which is my gochujang sauce. And this sauce comes from Cooking with Chaos, my brand new infinite recipe card system. It's Cooking with Chaos, buddy. You know what this is. You've been here the whole time I've been making it, all 3 years. For the past 3 years, I've been working on Cooking with Chaos, my infinite recipe card system. It's a collection of 60 different recipes, proteins, sauces, and sides. This way, you can mix and match different cards to get brand new meals every time. You get a full ingredient list on the front of each card and a full instruction on the back of each card. Not only that, but I also included macronutrients, so it's perfect for doing diets like this. That way, you can mix and match cards to fit your perfect daily needs. And right now, you can still pre-order Cooking with Chaos, the first edition, and when you do, you're going to get 3 free expansion pack cards included from a future expansion pack. I can't wait to get these in your hands, and if you want to be a part of Cooking with Chaos, head down to the link below at cookingwithchaos.gg to pre-order today, or use the QR code on screen. Now I'm excited to eat this, because I've never made it like this before. Cheers. Oh, it's salty, it's sweet, the beef is incredibly tender, the onions are incredibly tender. For this to only take 7 minutes, this really is 7 minutes in heaven. But maybe you're not on a bulk like Okarun and you're actually on a crash diet like Sakamoto. If you want to see me try Sakamoto's terrible crash diet, you can click or tap right over here to watch me do that one next. My name is Chef PK, this is Gandalf, and remember, keep playing with your food. Gandalf, get down. Get down, they can still see you. Gandalf, get down. You didn't disappear.